What's up? Your boy Domuto. We back whenever you're there watching What If Piccolo Possessed Goku Part 3 and 4 today. And yeah, I think we're in the Sand Saga now. So we about to get into it, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Give me y'all Dragon Ball and Naruto hot takes down below. I'll try working on this video this weekend. Hopefully I get enough of those hot takes so I can do the video. So anyway, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into it.
The fight between Goku and Vegeta begins. Vegeta is definitely stronger, but Goku's base is actually relatively close. Goku's power is about 13,000 right now. Piccolo's hoping that Goku tries to use Kaioken, because if he does, that'll give him an opportunity to take over. But from what he could tell, Goku won't need that here, at least not to a huge level. Sure, he'll need ×2 here, but that's not going to stress his body enough, unless he uses it for a really long period of time. Vegeta's also thinking the same thing. He wants to see that other side of Kakarot. Without even realizing it, Piccolo and Vegeta have the same goal here. Goku and Vegeta continue clashing. In order to actually hurt Vegeta, he has to turn on a Kaioken ×2. He could go to ×3, but that's pushing it. He doesn't want to take that risk here and let Piccolo get out. But if he goes into that, that'll make the fight way easier. At ×2, he does surpass Vegeta's power. But that's not going to be enough to outright stop Vegeta. Not to mention, he's a little bit concerned about Kaioken ×2, even at that small level. Over the past year of training, he's learned a lot more about himself.
Okay.
And the same applies to Piccolo. When Goku's body is stressed, Piccolo has an opportunity to escape. When Piccolo escapes, he has some sort of a cooldown, it looks like. They've only seen Piccolo escape once, so they don't know how long that lasts. But what they do know is after Goku suppresses him, Piccolo then completely loses control. After the fight with Raditz, when Goku regained control, Piccolo's control in Goku's body became way duller, and had to slowly return over time. The only reason Goku even knows this is because he and Piccolo kind of share some thoughts. This is thanks to a lot of King Kai's training. For Goku, it wasn't just physical strength. He became more in tune with his body and mind, which lets him experience more of what Piccolo experiences, although that's not really much. And because there's not really much else to look into, he got this info from Piccolo. So that's why Kaioken's a risk. It taxes his body a lot, and if he goes at too high of a level, the stress will dull his consciousness as well as injuring him, which will let Piccolo jump in. Vegeta has no idea where this fight's going, so he wants to try and anger Kakarot. Maybe that'll unleash that other side of him. Then a mouth spawns on Goku's face, taunting Goku and talking directly to Vegeta. This kind of freaks Vegeta out at first, but then he sees that's the other side of Kakarot somehow talking to him. Piccolo tells Vegeta to please kill Goku, and once Goku's dead, they can finally battle. It'll be a great fight. They can go all out. Goku tries to shut him up, but Piccolo keeps talking, telling him ways to exploit Goku's defenses and such. But then he has a great idea. He tells Vegeta, go for the boy. That should really upset Goku. And who knows, maybe it will help him escape. At first, Vegeta doesn't realize what he's talking about, but then he remembers, Goku's son. He's here on the battlefield. That might be the key to cracking him. Vegeta then launches over to Gohan, with Goku trying to chase him, even powering up into Kaioken. Vegeta almost gets to Gohan in time, but then an arm grabs Gohan, and it's not someone else's arm, it's Goku's arm. Another extended arm then comes to punch Vegeta, with Goku retracting his arm, pulling Gohan to safety. The two look equally confused. He didn't know he could do that. Instinctively to save Gohan, he was able to use Piccolo's power to stretch his arms. That's the first time he's done something like that. A Kikoho then comes in from above, hitting Vegeta and stunning him. Goku looks up to see Ten there and he apologizes for jumping in, but Goku says it's fine. He lost focus there for a bit anyways. While he was briefly confused by his extending arms, Vegeta was about to attack him. You know what? Maybe they should get Gohan out of here. For the time being, he protects Gohan and calls Nimbus, allowing him to leave, while the others try to hold Vegeta back briefly. Ten and Krillin activate Kaioken. They also have it, but it's a little bit more stressful for them, although they only use it at ×2 for them. Yamcha and Chaozu of course try to help however they can. Vegeta could actually fend all of them off at once, even with Ten and Krillin having Kaioken. Obviously they're not trying to defeat him because they know they can't. That's Goku's job. But there is one thing that they could try out. It's a plan they had in mind before. They could only use it once, and if it fails, it screws up everything. Because Vegeta might get desperate right after it, assuming he has a way to use his tail willingly. Because that's what their plan involves, cutting Vegeta's tail off. They know it's at least a weak point for other Saiyans, and at worst, cutting off his tail prevents him from transforming, if he even has a way to do so. It's pretty low risk, high reward, so they decide to try it. Chaozu focuses all of his power with telekinesis. Thankfully, Vegeta's tail is loose right now, not wrapped around him, and he uses it to hold the tail out. With Vegeta confused as to what's happening, his tail's standing up. This just makes it an easy target for Krillin. Ten and Yamcha direct Vegeta's attention towards them, as Krillin quickly activates Kaioken to move across the field, then creates a Kienzan. At the last moment, Ten and Yamcha grab onto Vegeta, holding him still while his tail is held out, letting the Kienzan hit it and cut it off. To their surprise, Vegeta's a little unfazed by it. It's a bit painful, but it's not like Raditz where it completely stunned him. He didn't know they'd go for that. That was a smart strategy, but it only served to piss him off.
Okay.
His anger empowers him and he's ready to kill them. But then he receives an attack.
Knock his ass out,
He
Vegeta.
thanks everyone for buying him some time. Nimbus arrives and is now taking Gohan back home. At least he got some experience with the Cybermen, but at this point in the battle, it's too risky to have him here. And strangely enough, he feels a little bit better. It's not like he had grave injuries beforehand, but he notices that some of the injuries he got from Vegeta are healed. He could have sworn he had a broken rib or two, but now it's fine. This happened right after he extended his arm. It's strange, it seems like the extended arm ability, it's tied to his regeneration somehow. It took a bit of stamina to heal himself though, but he did that instinctively. So it wore him out a bit, but it's better than fighting with broken ribs. He starts fighting Vegeta alone once more, with Piccolo watching the whole thing, cursing it all. Goku's playing this really smart. First of all, he got rid of Gohan so he wouldn't be a risk. Without him on the battlefield, they can't exploit Goku's anger. Unless Vegeta tries to kill one of his friends or something. But on top of that, Goku's learning to use his abilities. It seems he doesn't have full control over it, but he's starting to use it. That's definitely not a good sign. Especially because if Goku fully uses his powers, Piccolo will have less leverage, and it makes it harder to kill Goku on top of that. Like back in the fight with Raditz, the only reason that happened is because he had leverage. He was able to heal Goku. But if Goku can do that himself, there'll never be that situation again. He needs to think outside the box. He needs to find something else he could do here. But then he tries something that he hasn't tried in a fight before. At least not while part of Goku. Goku's too distracted right now to notice Piccolo's thoughts. Which means maybe he can communicate telepathically. Specifically with Vegeta. So he starts talking to Vegeta directly in his mind, but tells Vegeta to act normal. He introduces himself. He's King Piccolo. He's trapped within Goku. It's a bit of a long story, but he has an offer for Vegeta. If Vegeta helps get him out of here, Piccolo can give him power next. That same regeneration Goku has, Vegeta could utilize it himself. He's trying to encourage Vegeta in this fight, and telling him he can make him stronger than Goku. But Vegeta instantly declines. He's not a fool. Clearly Kakarot can't control Piccolo. And there's definitely something in it for him. There has to be a catch alongside it. Sure, that power might be tempting, but he hasn't lost yet. He has no reason to agree to those terms. Plus, he'd have to win in the first place to even do that. Although, the thought does stick in his mind. Piccolo's trying to side with him for some reason. Really, this is kind of a long game for Piccolo. He has no clue if he'll ever get out. But of course, just like Gohan, he's always wondered if he could transfer himself to someone else. And Vegeta's powerful. He's clearly a great warrior. What if he were to transfer himself to Vegeta? Purely hypothetical. He doesn't even know if it's possible yet. Not that he needs Vegeta's permission. He's just telling Vegeta all of this so he's more inclined to help. The two have much to think about. The battle finally concludes. Goku's the victor. It was definitely not an easy battle for Goku. He's pretty worn out. But without Vegeta being able to transform, and Goku sparingly using Kaioken, he was able to win. And Vegeta can't believe what just happened. He was beaten by a low-class warrior. He also has to remember, Kakarot's
Did get your
no
ass
regular
beat,
Saiyan.
Vegeta.
This
It's
is a
alright.
huge blow to his pride because he really fought two people together. And it makes him wonder, is Kakarot really just a weakling? Is he only this strong because of Piccolo? Probably. I mean, he's a low-class warrior. That's gotta be the case, right? That's more of a reason to try and separate Piccolo from Goku. He wants to fight Kakarot just as himself, to see if he could win like that. That way he'll truly know if he was bested by a low-class warrior, or if it was just because of Piccolo. At first, he and Nappa thought Kakarot was some sort of Super Saiyan, but now that he actually knows what's going on with Goku, that's not the case. And Vegeta simply asks Goku, "What are you?" And Goku explains further. It was kind of a rhetorical question though, because Vegeta already knows. He didn't need the long-winded answer, but it's probably better he pretends. Krillin wonders if this was a good idea to tell Vegeta, but what's Vegeta gonna do anyways? No one's been able to separate Piccolo from him so far, so Vegeta hears the story behind what happened. There's a demon living inside of him. Piccolo never specified that part, he just knew that someone was living inside of Kakarot. And it's weird, he has those types of powers. A magical being with regeneration and extending limbs. He's curious, what did this King Piccolo guy look like? Goku explains that he was a green alien with pointy ears and two antennae. Also weird muscle things on his arms. Wait a second, that sounds like a Namekian, not a demon. The rest of them are confused. Obviously they have no clue of what a Namekian is. But you know what, that makes sense. Goku's apparently an alien, so maybe Piccolo is too. Which would mean Kami is as well. Piccolo's pretty amazed to hear this too. Interesting. That's some pretty valuable info. But what do they do with Vegeta now? Well, Krillin and Ten think they should just kill Vegeta. Goku's against it, and because Goku's against it, Piccolo tries to act against him. With all his might, he tries to take control of Goku. He's infuriated right now. This was his only chance to escape again. And now it's been
Shit
thwarted.
ain't happening,
And
Piccolo.
somehow, through sheer willpower alone, he takes control for a brief second, commandeering Goku's arm, extending it out and grabbing Vegeta by the neck, lifting him up in the air. Goku has no clue of what's happening. Piccolo's never done this before, and Goku asks for someone to stop it. Looking to Krillin, he doesn't want to kill Vegeta. The hand gets tighter around Vegeta's neck, with claws digging into it too. Krillin makes a split-second decision, apologizing to Goku, but he asked for it. With the key Enzan, he cuts Goku's arm off, and then immediately gives Goku his Senzu beam. And Goku thanks him, but he wants to try something first. He doesn't know how Piccolo took control, but it seems their bodies are becoming more like one. It makes sense, he's able to use more of Piccolo's abilities, and Piccolo's able to take control of Goku somehow. But just to practice, this one time, he focuses all his energy into his arm, or what's left of it. And with all his focus, he's able to grow it back. He regenerates it. That confirms his theory, and it's also a little bit scary. Sure, it's great that he can control Piccolo's powers on his own, to some extent at least. But maybe Piccolo will find a way to escape again. He takes the Senzu anyways because that took a lot of stamina out of him. He just wanted to test if he could regenerate. It's a good thing to know, and now that he's back at full health from the Senzu, his senses aren't dulled at all, which means Piccolo can't take control. Obviously, Vegeta's just left speechless. He can't believe what he just saw. Although, he wants to try a new approach. It's like Raditz said. Kakarot is a regenerating Saiyan. And he asked Kakarot, after he regenerated, did he feel any stronger? And Goku says he felt his power rise a bit. Not a huge amount. And this was before he took the Senzu Bean. And Vegeta tells him that's his body adapting. It's just like he thought. Kakarot can regenerate, and get boost in power from it too. It's a bit counterintuitive since it takes his stamina. And of course it only applies to damage inflicted on him. When his arm was cut off, that was from Krillin. So that's why it worked. But Vegeta says he wants to help out. They can exploit that and Kakarot can grow far stronger than he could ever imagine. But Goku doesn't really care about that. He doesn't want to cheat his way to the top. It is good to know at least. But Vegeta then makes an offer. If Kakarot can use that power to defeat Frieza, Vegeta will lead them to Namek. If they go to Namek, maybe they'll find a way to separate Piccolo from Goku. But then King-Kai intervenes.
So this is where the story get a little different,
He can help them find Namek. There goes Vegeta's bargaining chip. Goku says it's fine anyways. Vegeta's an interesting opponent and they're not going to kill him. He thinks that's why Vegeta's bargaining, but there's another reason for the sudden change in mind. Ten and Krillin wonder if they should keep Vegeta alive. They thought he'd run, but he seems serious, like he actually wants to help here. Is he scared of Piccolo for some reason? Does he want to settle a grudge solely with Goku without Piccolo's influence? And that's partially the reason. First of all, he wants to fight Goku as Goku. Second of all, yes, he's sort of terrified of Piccolo. A Saiyan with Namekian powers, or the inverse. That can be terrifying. But the main reason he wants to help out here is because he wants to unleash Piccolo. Sure, fighting Kakarot as Kakarot will be fun, but what if he were to actually unleash Piccolo? Piccolo speaking to Vegeta mentally again. He was actually trying to bargain with Vegeta. Vegeta's a prince, and Piccolo wants to take over that empire, whatever it is. And imagine what they could do if they worked together. But Vegeta told Piccolo that there is no empire left. They work under Frieza. Well, even better. That means Vegeta doesn't have to give up anything. Piccolo will help defeat whoever this Frieza guy is, and then take over his empire. That's all he asks in return. Unless Vegeta can unleash him somehow, which would be even better. He just wants to be himself again. And once the two started talking about this, they started bargaining further. Besides Vegeta's morbid curiosity and slight fear, he mainly wants to help unleash Piccolo because it could help kill Frieza. So Vegeta brings up the idea of Namek again. Okay, if they could find their way to Namek, maybe they should do that. He makes a huge assumption and says they should be able to help. He doesn't realize they're talking with King-Kai, but King-Kai says that's actually a great idea. He doesn't know for sure. But Namekians are known for their weird magic abilities, plus the fact that Piccolo's a Namekian. Maybe they've seen something like this before. Maybe they could help out. And Vegeta's glad this is working. They're buying into it. Vegeta has no clue of what else to do right now. But maybe this could work in his favor. Although there's one thing he doesn't realize. Nearby is Nappa's scouter. It fell off in his fight with Goku, and it's listening into everything. Frieza hears all of this too. Vegeta's going to Namek? Why's that? You know what? Probably not too big of a concern right now. Frieza doesn't care for the Dragon Balls enough. But maybe he'll have to make an appearance on Namek, just to stop Vegeta. It looks like he's planning something against Frieza's interests. And with that, we'll end off here for now.
Okay.
What do you guys think about this part?
Okay.
What's going to happen next? Building
What if Piccolo possessed Goku Part 4? Well,
the ship to Namek. Thankfully, it's not time sensitive, so she and her father work on a really fast ship. They can make the best ship possible since they have the time. The crew so far is Goku, Vegeta, Krillin, and Ten. Gohan's actually going to stay back. He has no need to go. The group's keeping a close watch on Vegeta because they don't know what he's going to do.
No
so
Gohan?
Obviously they're going to take him to Namek with them. They can't just leave him here, and it's better to keep their enemies close. Vegeta's still really upset that it's come to this, but he hopes that he can at least free Piccolo. That'll make it all worth it. Plus, this will help him grow stronger. Obviously he got a boost in power after his last battle. And in the meantime he could actually spar with Kakarot. He has nothing else to do, and Goku of course is up for this. Vegeta's acting weirdly chill with everyone, despite the fact that he was trying to murder them before, and he killed Nappa. That only serves to make everyone more suspicious because they expect him to be more rowdy. He's still an ass to everyone like normal, but he doesn't work directly against them.
My shit pride.
He wants to see everyone's full strength after all, and grow stronger himself. He'll see how strong Kakarot truly is, then they'll have a real battle. Plus, he'll see how strong Piccolo is. His main motive is his hunger for battle. He's not really helping them at all, he just hangs around the group. It's not like he could do anything anyways. Goku does find Vegeta's power interesting, but he's still cautious. And in those times where they do spar, it gets a little bit serious, but Goku wins each time. And Vegeta observes closely. Goku's using that regeneration more and more. First, it's for smaller things, like cuts and bruises. That's what he could heal willingly. But then he's able to heal broken bones. Weirdly enough, he can't regrow his tail. But he's getting a lot better at controlling this power, which Piccolo sees as an issue. Plus, they obviously see Vegeta has an ulterior motive because he's acting like this. They're not stupid. He changed his tune really quickly after losing. Kami especially is really unsure about everything. Why keep Vegeta alive? Honestly, Goku would have done that regardless. Like, he did that normally. They have even more reason to do so here. But is going to Namek really the right thing? Kami doesn't even know what to expect there. He has no clue of what it's like. Even though they've heard from King Kai that it's a peaceful place, they should go prepared. They don't know what to expect. Ten especially leaves prepared. Obviously they get some senzus, but Ten also packs a container and a seal with him, just in case. He has been practicing the Mafuba more and more. It takes less out of him now. And activating it is a lot quicker for him. The group heads out.
That shit ain't gonna work on Frieza, nigga. Don't try it.
It's not like they have to prepare for anything, but Bulma and her father did create a gravity chamber. Vegeta mentioned the gravity here on Earth is very weak, and Goku, Ten, and Krillin of course remember how King Kai's planet was. The 10 times gravity was really helpful, so maybe having some sort of chamber where they could change gravity, that's going to be really nice for them. And everyone on the ship can use it. All 4 of them are used to 10 times gravity. But they could start working at higher levels. Again, they're not really training for anything specific, but it's just to pass the time. They don't have anything else to do while they're flying in space. But thankfully the ship's fast, and they don't need to torture themselves training. Not like Goku's training on the way to Namek in the original story. This is just regular training for them. At least for everyone besides Vegeta. He takes it really seriously, pushing himself to his limits to grow as much as possible. But they're not going to give him senzus if he hurts himself. They're limited and they need to save them. Plus there's no healing pods, which Vegeta's used to, so he has to kind of dial it back. Ten and Krillin are especially cautious, which is why they're saving the senzu beans. Again, they don't know if they're going to need them in the future. If things go bad on Namek, it's better to have them. The group arrives on the planet and it is pretty peaceful like they expected.
Pretty peaceful.
They find a village pretty quickly and they learn about the Dragon Balls. They just tell Vegeta to keep quiet because he's going to make a bad impression. And it works because Goku, Ten, and Krillin do make a good impression on the villagers. Although a lot of the people could sense that weirdness within Goku. He's clearly a good person and his ki just feels good. But there's also that weird evilness within him. But he doesn't hide anything either, he's just straight up with them. So whenever someone gets curious about it, he just explains, yeah, they sealed away an evil Namekian inside of him. He's still not too sure about how it happened, but he was hoping that maybe someone here could help him. Which is why they end up learning about the Dragon Balls here. That's not even the reason they were here in the first place. But it's good to know that there's another set here. Which also makes Vegeta curious. But the group doesn't hunt for the Dragon Balls because they don't need them. Shenron couldn't do anything, and they don't know if Porunga would be able to either. They need some sort of expert to help, so they find the perfect person, Guru. But before they go there, 2 people intercept them. Zarbon and Dodoria arrive on the planet. Only these 2 win, because Frieza thought they'd be enough. They only came for Vegeta and to figure out what's going on here. Thankfully, none of the group got Dragon Balls, so Frieza doesn't hear about them. Zarbon and Dodoria are just here to bring Vegeta back. Vegeta wonders why they're here in the first place, but it makes sense, they were probably spying on him. And he asks if it's just them here. Well, yeah, they're going to be enough to stop any threat and just bring Vegeta back to the Frieza Force. He'll face his true punishment there. That's good. No one else from Frieza's army is here. Just these 2. Zarbon and Dodoria also see Goku, realizing that there's another Saiyan alive. It looks like Nappa didn't make it back. Same for Raditz. It's starting to make sense. It looks like Vegeta's trying to recruit the Saiyan, and maybe he's trying to do something against Frieza. Why else would he recruit another Saiyan and then go to a random planet for some reason? He's planning something, and it's definitely something they need to stop. Vegeta then goes to attack Zarbon. Dodoria then glares over at the group, and Goku decides he's going to fight him. This is going to be a perfect test of his power. And the 2 individual fights are very brief. Zarbon transforms, which lets him live a little bit longer, but in the end, Goku and Vegeta win their respective fights, and Zarbon and Dodoria die, with Vegeta killing Dodoria after Goku defeats him. If any more of Frieza's underlings come at them, they need to kill them. It's too risky. The 4 of them eventually find their way to Guru. They ask around at other villages and tell the villagers. They learn everything about King Piccolo. They're actually pretty inclined to help. And because of this, they make their way to Guru.
Wait, is Ginyu...
Vegeta urges everyone to be quick because
Ginyu take this
Frieza
nigga body, he'll be
here.
crazy.
They don't want to run into him unprepared. And as much as Goku is curious about
I just thought about that. If Ginyu take this nigga body, he's gonna be crazy. I don't know.
Fighting him, it probably is a good idea to leave as soon as possible. Mainly because the Namekians have been so helpful, and they don't want Namek involved in Frieza's thing. When they first meet Guru, they're in awe. He heard that they're here not for the Dragon Balls, but actually for him. Usually whenever someone seeks the Dragon Balls, they come to him for that Dragon Ball that he has. But it's nice to have a visitor that wants to actually see him. And they don't need to tell him anything. He already knows what's going on. He could sense all of it, and read their minds just by touching their head. He actually does know of the Namekian who left long ago. Hundreds of years ago, there was a disaster on Namek. Guru was the only one who lived. But there was one Namekian who managed to escape the planet. The son of another Namekian. The nameless Namekian who escaped was the one who eventually split into Kami and King Piccolo. Good and evil counterparts. And Guru feels the evil presence within Goku, and thanks him for the additional info. He knew nothing about the nameless Namekian after he left, but he puts the pieces together now. Although, he does find this strange, he's never seen something like this. A sealing technique that sealed someone inside another person. He thinks to himself that it does make sense. A pure heart can be that powerful. It's quite a potent thing, and quite a rare thing, frankly. A truly pure heart with no evil intentions at all.
That is crazy,
Goku
though.
has no bad thoughts in his mind. It's fascinating to him. Unfortunately, since he's never seen this before, he doesn't know what to do about it. Although, he does have one idea. While he hasn't seen this before, he's pretty knowledgeable otherwise. He thinks that if he could awaken Goku's potential, it could help him suppress Piccolo further. This wouldn't affect Piccolo. It will only alter Goku's spirit. With his physical training that helped Piccolo. Piccolo learned everything that Goku did. And he could do mental training to grow even further. But this way with a shortcut, it will only affect Goku. The only way Piccolo would get a boost is if he takes over Goku and uses him as a vessel, because his physical body will grow stronger. At least that's what Guru theorizes. Over time, it should suppress and eventually expel Piccolo from Goku. By strengthening Goku's spirit, hypothetically, the goodness within him should overcome the evilness within Piccolo, and get rid of him for good. Goku's not too sure because Guru thinks it's risky too. Plus, Goku doesn't like the idea of being gifted power, and Guru says he'll only unlock what's necessary, especially because they don't know if it'll work. It's probably better to be conservative with this, because if things go wrong, then they're going to create a really powerful Piccolo. Plus, he introduces some of his own magic, trying to exorcise the evil within Goku, cleansing it into good. It isn't much, but in combination with Goku's power, he could expunge Piccolo. As long as Goku's careful and Piccolo doesn't get unleashed in the near future, he'll be gone soon. Guru thinks this will accomplish one of two things. Either Piccolo gets completely erased, or his spirit gets so overwhelmed that it just merges into Goku's, essentially forcing a fusion between the two of them, sort of like Namekian fusion. If the latter happens, Kami might actually be fine, but if the former happens, they're not sure what's going to happen to Kami. Maybe Kami's already life-linked to Goku. Maybe he'll die from that. They can't know for sure. They don't even know what the result of this will be either. So there's also that to keep in mind, but they go for this anyways. It's at least worth a shot. They always knew that Kami dying would mean Piccolo would die, which would hypothetically fix Goku. But obviously they don't want to just resort to that, and hopefully that doesn't happen here. Vegeta urges them to leave. They should hurry. He's pretty antsy, and as much as he wants to get those Dragon Balls for himself, he doesn't care. He knows he won't have time. This was underwhelming for Vegeta, but at least he got to train as well as kill Zarbon and Dodoria. They thank Guru for his help. Ten asks how Goku feels, and he feels fine. The eye slits on his face that usually represent Piccolo, they're completely gone. He can't even feel Piccolo's presence anymore. He's not sure, but it might actually be working. The trip back to Earth seems peaceful at first, but halfway through their trip, they sense a strong power out in space. A ship then hacks into their communications, and obviously no one here knows what to do about that. A voice then begins talking through it, and Vegeta immediately recognizes it. It's Frieza. Frieza himself is chasing down the ship, and he tells them to land nearby, or they'll just blow up the ship. He doubts any of them can survive in space. They land on a small planet nearby. This one at least seems to have an atmosphere, which is a good sign. But the planet's also barren, and it looks like they're going to have to do this alone. Goku immediately turns the ship into a capsule and hides it, just in case. Frieza's ship then lands and he steps off, greeting everyone, glad to see Vegeta once more. He didn't bring an army with him, it's just him and a few random soldiers. They just want to bring Vegeta back, and they'll leave everyone else. Well, they'll also bring that Saiyan with them too, because they did lose 2 Saiyan soldiers, so they need a replacement. He turns to the other 2. If those 2 Baldies give up the Saiyans, he'll kindly let them live. They don't really say anything, but Krillin wonders why he's calling them Baldies. He's bald too. Goku's not going anywhere, and he wants to actually fight Frieza. Vegeta calls him a fool for it. There's no way he could fight Frieza, but he also won't just accept this, so it looks like they don't really have a choice. Looks like they're just gonna die here. And Frieza wonders if the Saiyan knows what he's messing with. Goku knows and doesn't care. Besides, he's way stronger than before. That boost in power might help him in this battle. Piccolo's barely hanging on, but he can see some glimpses of what's happening. Is this how it ends for him? He'll actually be expelled from Goku completely, or the 2 of them will just die together. And he won't be able to revive Goku. This guy's gonna kill Goku, and make sure nothing is left to regenerate from. But that's Frieza, his newest foe. He'll never get to defeat him. Goku and Frieza start fighting. And Goku is actually pretty
It's the best picture you get of Frieza,
Frieza's
nigga.
then forced into his second and third form, eventually his final form. And this is where he starts having way less trouble. How is a Saiyan so strong? It doesn't matter now because Frieza's above him at least. But the fact that he contended with his other forms, he's never seen a Saiyan with that much power. Could he be a Super Saiyan? Goku tells Frieza they don't need to fight anymore. He doesn't have to kill Frieza, he just wants to leave. And Frieza takes this as mockery, even though it was genuine. This monkey thinks he could kill him. But the fight's not over. Frieza hasn't even shown his full strength. This only serves to piss him off. He starts wailing on Goku, and Goku can't really do anything against it. And you know what? If the Saiyan wants to mock him, he'll return the favor. He's gonna take his anger out on his Earthling friends over there. Those 2 should have just left Goku stranded here. But no, they had to stay back. They had to play the hero. They couldn't just give up their friend and leave. He fights Goku off with one hand and one leg. And with his other hand, he lifts the other 3 in the air telekinetically, slamming them into the ground. Which one should he kill first? Let's start with the short one. He lifts the unconscious Krillin up into the air, and tells Goku to watch closely, as he squeezes his hand, and Krillin then explodes. Next he'll go for the 3-eyed one. Next he'll go for the 3-eyed one. Then Vegeta, then Goku. He just wants to make sure Goku watches all of his friends die.
Won't let you
And of course
get away.
Goku's mortified watching this, and he's being beat up at the same time. Even with Kaioken at his max, it's hard to completely fend off Frieza. But he just watched Krillin die. Inside of Goku, Piccolo suddenly feels more awake than he was before. His senses aren't dulled, he feels like he's back to normal. He doesn't know why, but he actually feels empowered. There's an evil surging within Goku, and he can feel Goku powering up. He's never felt anything like this before, and then he sees what happened on the outside. But then Piccolo kind of loses control of himself too. On the outside, Goku starts transforming. His hair begins flickering into a golden color. with an aura forming around him, and inside of Goku, Piccolo could feel himself being freed. He feels amazing. This is euphoric. He's never felt like this. Goku powers up, turning into his Super Saiyan for the first time, but this is different. He grabs onto his head. He feels a weird pain. He's losing control of himself in two senses, in the sense that he's never gone Super Saiyan before and his anger's taking over, but also, Piccolo's taking over. His aura explodes, and even Frieza's taken aback. And briefly he sees Goku standing there with golden hair and a golden aura, but that aura then shifts into a dark purplish one. And Goku's hair stays standing up, but then it looks like it reverts back to its regular color. Vegeta doesn't even know what to say, and Ten watches on mortified. Vegeta's kinda happy because it looks like he might have become a Super Saiyan, but Ten is terrified to his core because Goku not only just powered up, but Piccolo gained control too. The power is unlike anything they've ever felt. It's even higher than Frieza's. Goku's body hangs limply, but then he lifts himself up, stretching out and cracking his neck. He looks unrecognizable. The four eyes on his face are open again. His hair is standing up, and he has weird markings on his body, kind of like how Piccolo did. His four eyes look around confused, but then they widen, and an evil grin stretches across his face. He shouts, with the shout shaking the entire planet. Even Frieza covers his ears, and he starts laughing maniacally. He's never felt so much bliss before, and he thanks Frieza. He would have been dead if it weren't for him, but it seems Goku's transformed, and whatever this form is, it introduced some sort of evil into Goku's heart, just enough for Piccolo to fully take control, and not just that, overcome whatever Guru did to him. Not only is he back again, but he's better than ever. He has complete control. Not to mention all the power that Goku just got, not only from having his potential unlocked, but becoming a Super Saiyan.
Disgusting.
Frieza's confused and even a bit scared. Since when do Saiyans have another form like this? The other two are confused as well. Ten has to push aside his feelings of Krillin's death. He can't let it distract him. They might even be able to revive him with Namex Dragon Balls, but he can't focus on that right now. He needs to find a way to stop this. But Goku, or rather Piccolo, turns over to him, with that same evil smile. He tells Ten to wait patiently. First he's gonna have some fun fighting Frieza, and then he'll decide what to do with Ten. He was the one who caused this in the first place. Not like he can go anywhere anyways. He pulls out the capsule with the ship on it, stored in Goku's pocket. He also thanks Vegeta for his help. The two of them can watch for now. He'll decide their fates later. This isn't Goku or Piccolo anymore. This is Goku Daimao. And as he gets ready to fight Frieza, this is where we'll leave off for now.
What the fuck?
What do you think about this part?
That's a freaky ass form. I ain't gonna lie. Goku. I don't know how I feel about that Goku. Nah, it's flat. Shout out to Shout Chance for the beat. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and also make sure y'all comment down them hot takes, man. So check out the last chapter right here, and check out another Malik right here, and I'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.